We're getting closer and closer to the reveal of the next Assassin's Creed, Ghost of wrong game. Assassin's Creed Red. We just got some new info regarding the details of the game from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming, and he wrote specifically about stealth, base building, and a little peek behind the curtain for how the production of the game is being handled. I'm going to go ahead and link the article in the description below, so go show him some love, and I'm really just going to cover some key aspects of the article that I think stick out and give my thoughts on them. And if you love Assassin's Creed like I do and are still hopeful for the series, even considering all the problems it does have, let's just say you're in the right place. So as we already know from the previous info from Tom Henderson, once again from Insider Gaming, the game is being set in feudal Japan, and supposedly we're going to have two protagonists, one being the iconic black samurai Yasuke, and a Japanese woman who will presumably be a ninja. But as far as new information, we learned that it looks like Ubisoft has taken a little bit more of a stealth approach to this game. The article states, combat in Assassin's Creed Red was described to me as being somewhat similar to Valhalla, but featuring a lot more gore, including blood and decapitations. Stealth also plays a major role in Red, somewhat akin to Splinter Cell. The player can extinguish torches, hide in tall grass and bushes, and even go prone whenever they please. Now, I'm sure this decision was made in part because of the success of AC Mirage, and that just showed that a game with a slightly more stealth focus can still be commercially successful. And the specific mention of Splinter Cell caught my eye as someone who loves Chaos Theory, and yes, even enjoyed Blacklist for what it was. But the idea of sneaking around through buildings, snuffing out lanterns, taking out soldiers in the darkness, that's exactly the sort of immersive stealth that I think this series has been missing for like the last 8 years. So it's really exciting to hear that they could be bringing that back. And being able to go prone is an interesting design choice in itself, especially if the interiors are made with that consideration. For an example, like you can sneak into buildings from underneath and crawl in through a latch door or something like that. Or maybe you can sneak through some opening towards the roof. That really cool stealth design that's in a lot of the games like Dishonored and stuff like that, where there are multiple ways that you can get into an area. Or if you're just out in the environment and you want to take a quick dive under a wagon to hide from some soldiers. Kind of similar to how Metal Gear Solid 5 does it, when you're kind of just roaming around and you're hiding prone underneath things and then crawling into bushes and then crawling under this table. And you know, that sort of stealth design. And if they're able to actually take these ideas and implement them correctly, then I'm all for it. The question is, of course, have they actually had enough time to do that? Assassin's Creed games are huge at this point with thousands of people working on them for 4 to 5 years, so if they actually had enough time to plan out and implement these ideas properly, then I'm game. My question is, were they considered before Mirage came out, or is this a play being called in the last quarter of the game? My hope is that this was a direction they were already headed towards, and then the success of Mirage just made them double down and deepen those ideas. They also mentioned combat being more gory with decapitations, which isn't new. I mean, Valhalla had you hacking through Saxons with an axe. But I am interested if this means they're going to strip the combat back a little bit, make it less ability based and more kind of attack and counter based. Which of course brings me to my next thought. How are they going to differentiate this game from Ghost of Tsushima? And yes, I know they are different games, but it's impossible to not draw comparisons with how similar they're probably going to feel. I mean, I always joked with my buddies about how Tsushima was the Assassin's Creed game I always wanted. And I guess we don't have nearly enough information to really know what they're going to do to help kind of make it stand alongside Tsushima and not feel like they're just chasing someone else's success. But I'm excited to see what Ubisoft is cooking up. The next part I want to talk about is something I'm very excited about, and that is base building. The article states, in Red, players will be able to build their settlement in a big way named the Hideout. The Hideout is where players will be able to build at their own will, the likes of an armory, dojo, altar, and more. These buildings are customizable too, from being able to pick the building location, to being able to choose your roof design, to the interior layout, to where you can display the likes of your weapons and armor. I love that last little bit about weapons and armor being displayed. For sure, Ubisoft, please let me just build my own Japanese Assassin's Creed Batcave. And I mean, this is an idea that Ubisoft has done well in the past. And I'm not talking about Valhalla settlement system. I thought that was just kind of okay at best. But what I'm thinking of is the villa in Assassin's Creed 2, where you get to see a very distinct visual change in the city when you invest, upgrade, and repair it. Then you also have Assassin's Creed 3's homestead, where they did a good job of attaching characters to that homestead, so that as you expand and it grows, you get to follow their storylines while you're unlocking special gear. I hope they can take those two aspects and really give me characters with unique stories, give me visual upgrades so I can see that this hideout is growing and expanding as I invest in it. Then we got this interesting bit of info on the engine that they're using for the game. The article states, Anvil Pipeline will allow all of the various Assassin's Creed studios, of which there are many, to work from one unified branch, rather than having different versions of branches. The move to the Anvil Pipeline has meant that the teams have had to completely overhaul everything in the series too, including animations, its parkour system, dynamic weather, and more. And look, I'm not going to pretend to be an absolute authority on game engines and production pipelines. I can only give my best guesses what this means as someone who actively works in the games industry and has spoken to many developers. I think this is going to be great in the long run. I think having many people working on the same engine creates better internal knowledge for problem solving and bug fixes. The question is, how much of a learning curve is it for some of the teams? I'm assuming not many, but I can't really say for sure because I'm not internal at Ubisoft. What I am hoping this means is a less buggy and more refined game at launch. And if you want me to be honest, I think the real reason they're doing this is for Assassin's Creed Infinity, which is supposedly going to be like their launcher for Assassin's Creed games, I guess? But this would allow them to make multiple smaller, more budget-friendly titles and expansions for that launcher with a single unified engine. The good part about that is it could mean more polished experiences. The bad, of course, is that it could lead to a more stale-feeling entries. It really just comes down to how pliable the engine is and how much artists and designers are able to take and shape and mold things to make them look and feel unique. But that's all I've got for you guys. Let me know how you're feeling about these updates and give me your hype levels on Assassin's Creed Red. Drop these thoughts in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. And as always, thanks for watching.